Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato
Arahato
Samma Sambuddhassa.
Sambuddhassa.
Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Dasa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Down. The translator tonight is for Dharma talk tonight is Brother Lukito. We would like to invite Sayadaw to kindly start the Dharma talk.
Okay, sorry.
Mandami Shadow.
So today we have already announced we are going to talk about how to develop mindfulness, the enlightenment factor of mindfulness. So as everybody has known the Pali word sati, mindfulness. So when we combine together with enlightenment factors, there's the Pali word sati sambojjhanga. So I have to explain what's the meaning of bojjhanga first. There are two Pali words in it, bodhi and anga. Bodhi means the enlightened, anga means the fetters. So that means these enlightenment fetters can lead the meditators to the enlightenment. That is why they are called enlightenment fetters. So bodhi also means awakeness. So sometimes when we have a lot of delusion, we will be sleeping in the dark room. Similarly, when we have very strong mind power, we can get enlightened. Mostly when we are going to sleep, it should be at night, right? So similarly, when we have darkness of delusion, moha, at the time our mind power is sleeping, not working properly. So when we have darkness of delusions, we cannot get enlightenment. Not only that, if we delight in the hobby and the defilements, we cannot get enlightenment. So I think you have already known the Pali words, bojjhanga, or enlightenment fetters. So that means when we have these enlightenment fetters, we can get enlightened. That is why we call bojjhanga. So today, we are going to talk about sati sambojjhanga. Sati means mindfulness. Bojjhanga means enlightenment fetters. So among the 7 enlightenment fetters, sati is also one of the fetters. It's also very important for the meditators. So now we have to explain what is the meaning of sati. So we have some Pali definition. Upaghana lakkhana sati. The nature or the characteristics of sati is supporting or taking up firmly. So that means when we have mindfulness, we can take the object strongly and seriously. It makes mind firm and stable. If we don't have mindfulness, our minds cannot take the object very firmly and seriously, then not that much good concentration. The characteristics of sati is supporting or maybe taking up the object very firmly and strongly. Then we have another definition. Apilapana lakkhana sati. Not floating away from the object is the characteristics of mindfulness. Not floating away. So sometimes when we have very weak mindfulness, our mind is floating, not deep enough. So when our mindfulness becomes very powerful, then it's not floating away, it becomes very firm and very stable. Asammosana rasa. the functions of mindfulness is the absence of confusion or non-forgetfulness of the object. So sometimes when we don't have mindfulness, we may have confusion. We're confused about objects. We're confused many different things. So now when we have very strong and powerful mindfulness, our mind is free from confusion and forgetfulness. This is the functions of sati, the mindfulness. Then we have araka patupatthana. The manifestation is as the guardianship of mind and the object. So if we don't have any guards in the community, anybody can disturb us. Similarly, if we don't have mindfulness, any defilements can disturb us. So we have another definition. Visaya bimukhi bhava patupatthana. As the state of the mind, minds confronting an object. So we can also understand another way. The mindfulness will turn the mind to the object or face the object. Sorry. So now we have its prosemic cause. That's the Tila Sanya Padatthana. When we have very strong perception, very strong and firm perception, we may have stronger mindfulness. Then we also have another prosemic cause. That is Kayadhisatipatthana Padatthana. That means the four foundations of mindfulness can be the prosemic cause of the mindfulness. So in brief, if we are not very forgetful, we have mindfulness. Not only that, if we can firmly take the objects, or if we can know the object very firmly, then we have mindfulness. So the mindfulness cannot associate with a wholesome mind. Mindfulness can associate with wholesome mind. I think many of people have known one of the Buddha's teaching. Mindfulness is the way to deathless. Negligence is the way to death. So if we can develop the mindfulness, we are going to deathless. So there are four things that lead to the arisings of the enlightenment factors of mindfulness. In today's Dhamma talk, I will explain one by one. Number one, sati sampajanya. This is one of the factors. Having mindfulness and a clear comprehension. When you have read Mahasatipatthana Sutta, you may find many usages like that. Sati sampajanya in many places. I have already explained the meaning of sati. Now I have to explain the meaning of sampajanya. Sam, pa, and jhana, three different words combined together. Sam means very well. Pa means in detail. Jhana means knowing. If we know everything in detail, that is called sampajanya. This is also a kind of wisdom. So sampajanya can divide into four different groups, four different sampajanya. The first one is Sattaka sampajanya, the purpose of the beneficial. Comprehending the purpose of doing something or comprehending the benefit. So that means when we are going to do some things, we have to know what's the purpose of doing this. We also have to know is it beneficial or not. This is called Sattaka sampajanya. So the second one is Sappaya sampajanya. This means comprehending suitability. When we are going to do something, is it suitable or not? If we can know, if we can comprehend, we have Sappaya sampajanya. So the third one is Gochara sampajanya. Gochara means the meditation subject. So our mind must be always with meditation subjects. This is called Kojara Samajanya. Then we have the last one, Asamaha Samajanya. Comprehension of non-delusions or non-confusion. Okay, now I have to elaborate one by one. The first one is Sadaka Samajanya. Clear comprehension of benefits. Right? So we may have to go many different places. Before going, we have to make ourselves clear. What's the purpose of going there? If we can know clearly, that's called Sadaka Samajanya. So we can also go to the pagoda. By going to the pagoda, if we can feel happiness, or if we can feel calmness of the mind, then it's beneficial. By going to the monastery, by going to the pagoda or temple, if we get angry or unhappy or feel very sorry, this is not beneficial. We have to know is it beneficial or not by going somewhere. Then, similarly, when we go to the Bodhi tree, if we can feel happiness, if rapture, joy, delight arises, this is the good, this is beneficial. Sometimes by going to the Bodhi tree, we'll see many different people talking many different things. If we cannot feel happiness, it's not very beneficial. And similarly, from time to time, we may go to see our senior, orderly monks, or anybody. By going and see them, if we can get some motivation, aspiration, or if our mind become very active, rapture arises, this is beneficial. Sometimes we just go to see orderly monks or senior monks just for fun. They're making some conversation, talking with useless things, not very beneficial. So I think for Indonesia Kabiya, right? Most of the Kabiya are very clever. Even in the car, they ask a lot of questions, right? They can get a lot of profits, right? Although I am in the car for 2 hours, it's not enough, right? Vietnamese Kabiya also ask a lot of questions. Okay, yeah, the main thing is when seeing one senior bhikkhu or any meditation teacher, if you can get profits, that means this is called Sadaka Samajanya. So sometimes we may go to the funeral, we may see the corpse, dead body. Although we see dead body, sometimes it's not that much repulsive, right? Especially in foreign country, they decorate dead body too much. In Myanmar, we can see natural dead body. So if we can see natural dead body, it will be more beneficial. Here, I just talk about very simple things. So by going to the pagoda or Bodhi tree or seeing senior monks, if you can listen to Dhamma talk, if you can practice, attain jhana, more beneficial. If you can attain nibbana, it's the most beneficial. Similarly, when seeing the corpse now, right? A corpse, dead body, if you can attain first jhana, sure, this is beneficial. If you can practice vipassana based on that, more beneficial. So we have the second samajanya, we call Sappaya Samajanya, clear comprehension of suitability. So here's, although we go to the pagoda, sometimes very crowded. Many people come, talking a lot. Although we are going to chant something, we cannot concentrate very well. Although we are going to do Bodhanussati, we're going to do very well. It's not a suitable place for us, although it's a pagoda. I think many of Indonesians who has been to Myanmar may have been to Taitiyo, Korean Rock in Mon State. It's very, very crowded. In my life, I have been there only 2 times. I cannot go there 3 times, that time anymore, because very crowded. we cannot concentrate very well. So similarly, there will be many different, very, very famous pagoda in any country. It's very crowded, busy with many different people. It's not a good place for us to meditate or to discuss Dharma or to concentrate. That is why it's unsuitable. If we know this is unsuitable, this is called Sappaya Samajanya. Similarly, we also have some other places like a Bodhi tree, very famous Bodhi tree. Like in Sri Lanka, we have many different, many Bodhi trees. They are also very famous. If the place is very crowded, it's not a good place to meditate. It's an unsuitable place to meditate. If we know it's suitable for meditation or not, this is called Sappaya Samajanya. Similarly, very famous monastery, very famous meditation teacher, like Pao Siaro, right? So if you go to see very famous teacher, it's very crowded, you cannot meditate there. Similarly, very famous monastery, like Pao Troya maybe. It's very busy, you cannot meditate anymore. So that means we have to know that by going some monastery or some teacher, we can get some knowledge, or then it's suitable for meditation there. If we can know this is suitable for meditation, we can say this is Sappaya Samajanya. So in brief, by going somewhere or by going to see somebody, if our morality becomes stronger, our concentration becomes stronger, our wisdom faculties become very stronger, that is suitable. So we also have to know the danger. In the Pali text, we have two different dangers mentioned. The first one is Brahmacharya. That means it can be an obstruction for noble training or noble practice. Also can be Jivitanaraya. That means it can be obstructions or it will be risky for our life. That means very dangerous. We should not go and see that kind of people, and we should not go that kind of place. So we should talk about one story about the corpse or asubha, reversiveness meditation. There was a bhikkhu and a samnera. They were on the way to collect firewood in the forest. In one place, the samnera went uphill and looked around. He saw a corpse. This means main dead body. And he trying to practice Asubha Bhavana there. So since it's a main dead body, it's beneficial for both. It also suitable for both. So when seeing a dead body, like a corpse, we can attain only first jhana. The samnera also attained the first jhana on the spot there. Maybe he may have been practicing that method very long times ago. So within few minutes, he could practice Vipassana based on Asubha meditation. That he could attain Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami. When he was continuous practicing, the bhikkhu called him, "Hi, Samnera, where are you?" Then he thought, although we came together, we don't have any proper conversation so far. Just, I can continue my practice later. So he just replied, "Yes, Bande." He just went back to bhikkhu and just bring bhikkhu there again. Then after meeting the bhikkhu, the samnera said, "Bande, please go uphill, just look around there. It will be beneficial for you." The bhikkhu also thought it will be really beneficial. That's why he told me. He just go uphill. Then he also look around. He saw the dead body again. He could also practice the same, attain headship on the spot there. So if we know beneficial and suitable things, we can improve faster. If we don't know beneficial things and suitable things, we cannot improve easily. That is why this Sampajanya is also important. So now the third one is Gochara Sampajanya, the clear comprehension of results. So that means we must practice one of the meditation objects everywhere, in any time. This is called Gochara Sampajanya. So when we talk about this Sampajanya, we also can say 4 different practices in this chapter. Okay, in brief, so when we go for Betapada, we have 2 ways, right? We have to go and then come back. So on the way to village, we practice meditation, but when we come back, no meditation. Opposites. On the way to the village, no meditation, but when we come back with meditation. Okay, now 2 more, right? So when he go on the way to the village, also with meditation. When he come back also with meditation. Then the last one, when going also no meditation, when coming back also no meditation. So sometimes we don't think that we have responsibility to meditate. Now we have a lot of negligence. Sometimes our mind is influenced or overpowered by 5 types of Chitta-kila. Chitta-kila means arrows in the mind. So what's Chitta-kila? Sometimes we doubt about the Buddha. This is also one of the arrows in our hearts. If we have a lot of doubt about the Buddha, we cannot improve anymore. So similarly, we may have doubt about the Dhamma. We have 6 qualities of the Dhamma. If we doubt about the Dhamma, we cannot improve anymore. So the third one is we may have doubt about Sangha, especially noble Sangha, like Venerable Sariputra, Venerable Mahamoggallana, whether they can really attain arhatship or not. When we have this kind of doubt, we cannot improve anymore. It's also a kind of thorn or arrow in our hearts. So the fourth one is doubt about the novel training. We can also say doubt about 3 trainings. Is it possible to attain Nibbana by practicing 3 trainings? When we have this kind of doubt, it becomes a thorn or an arrow in our minds. If we don't pull out, we cannot attain anything. So here in this point, from time to time, you may have listened from many different Dhamma talkers. Morality is not, Sila is not important. The most important thing is Vipassana. It's not truth. Sila is also important. Without Sila, we cannot be respectable and honorable. So Sila is also foundations of Samadhi, foundations for Samadhi. And there may be some other teacher, they may say, Samadhi is not important. Vipassana is more important. Without Samadhi, we cannot attain any insight knowledges. So after listening many discourses, you get confused. Is it important or not? So when we have a lot of confusion, you cannot practice very well. Then you may not have Gochara Sampajanya properly. So sometimes we may have a lot of communication with the lay devotees. And modern community is very complicated, right? Like telephone, Facebook, WhatsApp, Viber, Messenger. I don't know how many other applications we can use for communication. If we say hi to everybody, we cannot meditate workshop. So that means if we have a lot of communications, a lot of associations, then we cannot meditate well. Then we may not have Gochara Sampajanya. So if we just use social media for Dhamma propagation, is it right? Okay, in brief, when we go to the village without any arrow in our hearts, we just take meditation subjects seriously, then this is also called Kojara Samajanya. Similarly, on the way back, if we take meditation subjects very seriously, this is also called Kojara Samajanya. As an ordained person, from time to time, we have to remind ourselves. Buddha also recommended like this. For example, you are not ordained because of debt, fear, or not for surviving. You are ordained to be free from suffering. We have to remind ourselves. If we can remind ourselves frequently, we can practice well. Okay, now, you may also have known some traditional saying. You have to remove the defilements that arise while standing. So that means you have to remove while standing when defilement arises before sitting. Similarly, while sitting, when defilement arises, you must remove it before standing or walking. In every posture, defilement can arise. We have to remove before changing posture. Then, how shall we do to improve our mindfulness in our daily life or when we are going here and there? So we have to limit the place. For example, there will be landmark in every single point. For example, from upper monastery to lower monastery, you may have into Paotoya, right? There will be many, many trees. So we have to limit the area from this tree to that tree. I must try to be mindful. Then after that, just look ahead. Now we have to limit another place. Okay, in between this my standing place to that tree, I must be mindful. We have to make many, many landmarks to make ourselves mindful. So it can be a tree, it can be a stone, it can be a stump, it can be any other material on the way. It can be a post or a pillar, anything. We can limit. We can make the point. From this stone to that tree, in between these two, I will be mindful. From that stone to another tree, I will be mindful. If we can limit like that, it will be helpful for us. So we have one very well-known Mahathera in our tradition. That means in Pali text, it's called Mahapusa Devathera. He practiced like this. Whenever he go for Pindapata, on the way, he has many, many, many landmarks. Between this stone and that tree, I will be mindful. He determined, he really do it. So he practiced more than 21 years, just going and coming back with meditation. So sometimes on the way, he forgets to focus on his objects, and he just come back to previous landmark. Then move forward again. If he forgets to focus on the main objects, come back to previous landmark, go back. So he has to walk, to and fro many times. So many people seeing the Mahathera, stopping and coming back, going forward many times. Then they thought something's missing. That's why they approached. Andy, is something missing? How can I help you? It didn't make heal to their curiosity. Just keep coming back, moving forward, until he arrived at the village. So after 21 years, he attained arhatship. So that means
after 21 years.
Yeah, he attained arhatship. So that means if we can practice continuously like him, we can also attain the same. So here we have the last one, asamoha samajanya, clear comprehension of non-delusion. So clear comprehension of non-delusion. That means practice meditation in every posture. This is called clear comprehension of non-delusion. So in this case, we have to talk about many other things. For example, when we are going to walk, then when elements predominant, mind produces materialities, or brain or other materialities. So we have to know everything in detail. If we can know it, we can practice this method. So when we are going to walk, you may know different steps, right? We have to lift our leg, then move a little bit forwards, bring forwards, then we have to stop there, pause a little bit wide, then just lowering down, and then press on the ground. We have many different steps. In every single steps, we have to know what kind of rupa materiality is predominant, powerful in this case. If we can know all the rupas clearly and naturally, we can practice this method. So here I will give only a few simile. When lifting your legs, now or bringing forwards, the earth elements and water elements are weaker. The fire elements and wind elements are stronger. Similarly, when you lower your leg, the fire elements and wind elements are weaker. Then other two elements are stronger. So this is just an example, right? It will be many other explanations. So it will be very difficult for you to understand. So that's why I skip. So in brief, it can be any meditation subjects. It can be Anapana, 4 elements, or any meditation subjects. It also can be Samatha, it also can be Vipassana. If we are always together with mindfulness, or if we are always together with meditation subjects, we may have this one, Asamoha Samajanya. So in brief, we have already talked about Samajanya, right? This is the first things among the four ways to developing the horizon of the mindfulness. So in the very beginning, I have already talked about 4 things that can lead the horizons of enlightenment factors of mindfulness. Among them, one is Sati Samajanya, having mindfulness and clear comprehension, right? So only that part. Then we have 3 remaining things. Number 2 is Mota Sati Bukala Pariwajana, the avoiding of person with confused mind. So that means if somebody is confusion a lot, or if somebody is not that much mindful, we should not associate. So Dhamma front is also one of the supporting causes of our improve. If our Dhamma fronts are good, we can improve faster. If our Dhamma fronts are bad, we can improve slower. Sometimes we cannot improve anymore. Then we have another one, number 3, Upatita Sati Pukala Sevana. We must associate with a good person who keep mindfulness. So if we can associate with mindful person, we can also emulate how they practice. Then we can also get some suggestions or recommendation from them. We can also improve ourselves. Now the last one is the Tati Mudata. That means inclination towards mindfulness in any posture. That means if we ourselves is very interested and our mind inclined to meditation or mindfulness all the time, we can improve. If we are not very interested and are willing to meditate, then we cannot improve anymore. So now we have 4 factors to improve our mindfulness. The first one is Sati Samajanya, mindfulness and clear comprehension. The second and the third are association. If we can associate with good people, we can improve. If we can communicate or associate with bad people, we cannot improve. The last one is that we ourselves, when our minds incline or interest or willing to be mindful, we can improve faster. So now we will stop here, right? May you all be able to develop the mindfulness of breathing, or may you all be able to develop the enlightenment factors of mindfulness. And the power of this, may you all be able to understand the Four Noble Truths and attain the final cessation, Nirvana.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Sayadaw, for the Dhamma talk. Sayadaw, we are now entering the questions and answer session. Brother Edison will be the moderator for tonight Q&A session. Silakan, Brother Edison.
Ya, terima kasih Saudari Patricia. Good evening, Sayadaw, Tukihotu. Now we are entering Q&A session. My name is Edison. I will have to guide the question from Zoom and Telegram asked by the audience alternately.
Wandami Bande. I have prepared 3 questions. Allow me to ask 3 questions because today's topic is very interesting, Bante. Yeah. First question is in the Digha Nikaya Mahaparinibbana Sutta. Lord Buddha mentioned the front part, there's a Pali word, but the second part is Apamadena Sampadeta. Is this the words of exhortation from Lord Buddha to practice mindfulness?
Yes.
This is my first question.
Okay.
The second one is, what's the relationship between Sati Sampajana with Yoniso Manasikara? Is these two the same? These two terms is the same, or or is that the different? How these two terms, these two lead to the Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasana? If you could explain it. And the third one is the Sati in Bodhipakya Dhamma. There's Sati in the Pancha Indriya and the Pancha Bala. There's a Sati quality. There's a Satindriya and Sati Bala. Are they the same quality or are they the difference? If they are the same, why is that so and why they are different? Thank you, Sayadaw. Anumodana.
Okay. The last one should be easiest question, right? The easiest answer.
Huh?
So the last one is the easiest to answer.
The Lord Buddha.
Actually, they are the same quality, the same metaphysics. The last one, right?
The last one. So they are the same, Sayadaw. Sorry.
The same. Okay.
Okay.
So the first one you talk about Apamadena.
Yeah.
So actually, Buddha used many times this similar term, Apamadena Sampadeta, right? If we say Apamada, it covers all over the Tripitaka.
All the Tripitaka.
Right? So this, you may know that I think I have explained that one before. For example, we have Sila Samadhi Panya, right? Sila, we have Vinaya. Vinaya is about Sila. Samadhi, we have Sutta. Panya, we have Vidama. Sila Samadhi Panya is also the essence of Tripitaka. So if we summarize all the Sila Samadhi Panya, it becomes Apamada. That means if we are not negligent, keep knowing good things or keep doing good things, it's called Apamada. So Apamada has many other meanings. But here, mostly we just know Apamada as a mindful or something like that. Mindful. Okay, this is the first question, right?
Yeah.
Now, second question. What's the difference between Yoniso Manasikara and the Sampajanya, right?
Yeah.
The Yoniso Manasikara is a good quality. Whenever we are going to do something good, there will be Yoniso Manasikara. So when we talk about Sampajanya, it's similar to Panya, wisdom. Okay, these two are different. Yoniso Manasikara can be sometimes without wisdom also can be. But when we talk about Sampajanya, without wisdom, Sampajanya cannot arise. So that means both of them are important for enlightenment or Yatha Buddha Jnana.
Okay.
Okay, Yoniso Manasikara is a very basis.
Basic.
Then Samadhi is a little bit higher level.
So Sayadaw, so you need both of these in order to reach Yatha Bhuta Jnana Dasana, or how is that?
Okay, sure. You need both of them.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Sayadaw.
Another question is he is referring to the story that Sayadaw told. Yeah, the story where the Samanera and a bhikkhu attain Maggaphala during the Asubha Bhavana and the uphill and seeing the corpse. His questions was what was the feeling, and how do you describe about being in the first jhana? Meaning he wanted to know how would we feel and how would we picture being in the first jhana, Sayadaw?
Oh, very long question, right? You know, when we go and study the Pali Canon, many times when the Buddha talk about this, right? Mind is free from sensual pleasure, or because of like a defilements, both. The mind is also free. The mind is also free from unwholesome thoughts or unwholesome any other unwholesome thoughts. So this is the first part. The Buddha talk about it. So the Buddha also talk about jhana factors at the time. But in reality, when we are entering jhana, we cannot know jhana factors. So if you have one more usage here, we will get jhana, piti sukham. We have this Pali words. That means join and rupture produced by seclusions or solitude. So we have rupture, we also have joy. It is produced by, we can say, solitude or seclusion. Here we have mental seclusion. The mind is free from unwholesome thoughts or unwholesome minds, also free from defilements. So now, the most important thing is the mind is keep knowing only the nimitta, with the calmness of the mind, without following any other objects. So the concentration is also very deep at the time. That is why we call jhana.
Can I ask Sayadaw a question?
Okay, please.
Sayadaw, for lay person, how to do self-study of Theravada Buddhism at home? Could you upload your Dhamma talk and Palita chanting on internet? That's all.
Dukha. So learning, okay, we have many, I think in Indonesia you have Nikaya translation. You can also read Nikaya translation. This is one of the way to study. Then we also have many other material, like for example, Pali learning. Even in Indonesia, there are many people who study Pali. You can also learn Pali. You can read, if you can read Pali, it's much better. So, okay, briefly, you can study Nikaya. Among the Nikaya, so you can choose easiest one. Like for example, Anguttara Nikaya. Anguttara Nikaya is easier for lay devotees, also beneficial for lay devotees. If you study very high level, like a Niranavaka Sayutta or something like that, it will be difficult for you. Okay, so start with easier one. Then, if necessary, you can also ask many other people who is studying at the same time. I think in Indonesia you have a group study. Okay, any other thing?
Thank you, Sayadaw, but I'm from China.
Oh, you're from China. I see.
Oh, sorry.
Tamika.
Yeah. Very good, Sayadaw.
Oh. Okay, so you can also study. You have studied Pali, right?
Yeah, I'm studying.
Okay, if you have already studied Pali, then try to read Pali more. If you can read Pali properly, you can study better. You don't need many other material. Only Pali is good enough for you. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Shadow, the questions from Mansoor, his name Shadow. He asked, do the place is so important for a meditator to improve their meditation's progress, Shadow?
Yes, we can also say importance. When we talk about suitable conditions, right? It also mentioned suitable environment. For example, when the Buddha talk about Anapanasati, in the very beginning, it mentioned Sunyagara Gadowa, Rukha Mula Gadowa. That means Sunyagara means quiet place. Rukha Mula means at the foot of a tree. So that means we can go to the forest, at the foot of the tree, or in a quiet place, we can meditate. If there's noise, it's too noisy, it can disturb our mind. We cannot improve easily. That's why environment is also important. Okay?
The last words, environment, Shadow? Can you repeat the last word, Shadow?
Environment.
Oh, okay.
Surrounding.
Okay. Okay, Shadow. There's another questions from the same brother. He said there are 4 conditions that he found out when he was asking. There are 4 conditions that he found during the finding the place for meditations. The first one is the place is quite suitable and convenient for doing the meditations, but he found that the monks in that place is involved in fundraising, Shadow.
I know.
Okay, the second one, the place is good, but it's not suitable or it's not as per what he thought. I mean, like we are doing the another traditions, and then that place is doing another tradition, Shadow. So different traditions in those places. The third ones, the Vinaya that the monks in that place is not strong, he said. It's not strict. This is proven that every evening the monks is broken the branches of the trees, or they also some doing the planting, Shadow. And the fourth and then the fourth ones, this is something that is related to how do you say the pornography, Shadow. So the lay people there is not holding the morality strictly. If a guy or he or us finding this kind of 4 different type of places, what should we do, Shadow?
Okay. Actually, we have many suitabilities. Okay. I have to list out, okay? The first one is awasa. Awasa means living place. That means kuti or village or anything. The kuti must be warm enough. It's cold weather. So it must be cool when it's hot. The first one is living place, because like dwelling or village is also important. Okay. Okay. Now, second one is supporting environment. Environment means here, like if there's a lot of drunkards, right? A lot of people drank, or a lot of silly and crazy people, or dangerous animals in the area. This is not a good place. We call Gochara. Okay, so the next one is we call in Bali Basa. Basa means conversation. If they talk about like a politics and also about like a ocean or many other subjects, not Dhamma. If many people are talking about different subjects, then this is not a good place to meditate. So another thing is like a Pugala. Pugala means suitable Dhamma friends or suitable teacher, like that. If somebody can support our practice, like as we say in the monastery, you go to the monastery and they cannot support your meditation, This is not a good place to meditate. So the next one is bhojana. Bhojana means foods. You must have suitable food. Foods, yeah, suitable foods. If you don't have enough food, or if you don't have suitable foods, you cannot meditate well. The next one is udu, we call weather or temperature. If the place you live is good temperature, good weather, you can meditate well. If the weather is very bad, you cannot meditate. It's also important. So now you can imagine many of them are external, right? Not from yourself. The last one is yourself. This is Idiapata, suitable posture. You must know which posture is the best for you. Then you can improve faster. So now in your question, it's very clear, right? It's not a suitable place to meditate. So that means not all the quiet places are good for meditation, right? Be careful. Okay, then any other question?
Shadow, the next question is related to Vinaya Bhikkhu, Shadow. Which Vinaya that we have to observe or we have to really pay attention on when we are in the car together with a monks and discussing about Dhamma.
Okay. In the car, sure. This is a little bit difficult to say, right? So according to Vinaya, we have, this saying car not really big problem. By telephone is more dangerous, right? More risky. Okay. So as long as we don't use Pali word, it doesn't matter. We just use like a different languages, in Myanmar language or English language, it doesn't matter. If you're going to ask many Pali questions, it's not very convenient in the car. Be careful with that one. Especially if Bhikkhu is behind you, be careful, right?
Shadow, sorry, I still didn't get why do we have to talk in other language than Pali, Shadow, when we were in the car?
Okay, so that means when you study Sikha rules, there are many rules about Dhamma talk, right?
Yeah.
If somebody is going in front, Bhikkhu is behind, we should not give Dhamma talk, especially in Pali. If we use Pali, then this is an offense. This is like a walking in the car. I'm not sure because this is a car, not walking, right?
Sayadaw, there is another question in June. I think this the same person from China, Miss Guayang Li. Okay, please.
Okay.
Miss Guayang Li.
Yeah. Can I say now?
Okay.
So you gave us the 5 precepts, and I saw in internet there's another kind of 5 precepts, which is the 3rd precept is Abramacharya. I want to ask, did Buddha give the 5 precepts with Abramacharya, or the internet message is wrong?
This is right. This is also right. That means for a single lady, like some single lady, they can do Abramacharya because this is also special precepts. Similarly, single man can do Abramacharya. This is special precepts. It's okay. We also have this kind of precepts.
Yeah, Shadow, her questions was, when we feel sleepy, Shadow, can you explain us what about our sati? What about our mindfulness, Shadow? What is the status of our mindfulness, Shadow?
Okay, so when you are drowsy, you have Chinamita. It's no mindfulness at the time. When you can overcome Chinamita, you can have mindfulness. Chinamita is a kind of unwholesome mental patterns, right? If you study Bidama, you may know that one.
Shadow, there are 3 questions, Shadow, coming from the brother named Johan. The first one is the factor that Shadow explains in the talk today, is that one of the 7 enlightenment factor?
Yeah, right. Only one of them, sure.
Okay. And then the second one, if yes, by only developing and contemplating this factor that Sayadaw explains, which can lead to jhana and realize, would that help us to realize jhana up to nibbana, Sayadaw?
Actually, we must balance. Okay, we must balance all the enlightenment factors. The mindfulness sati is a key player. Okay, if we have mindfulness, we can balance more. It doesn't mean mindfulness alone can lead nibbana.
So only mindfulness cannot lead to nibbana, Sayadaw, yeah? So we have to balance the entire seven enlightenment factor. Okay.
Sure. Mindfulness is a key player to balance, right?
Okay. The third questions, actually, this is related to, I think we have to discuss this with the event organizers as well, Sayadaw, because he asked, will Sayadaw also explain the other factor of enlightenment factor?
It depends on your group, right? So maybe it will take 1 year, maybe, right?
Okay. Sayadaw, the question is how can we distinguish? How can we know whether that is delusions or nimitta? Whether that is delusions or jhana? How can we know, Sayadaw? Please, Sayadaw, explain.
Okay, so that means in the case of nimitta, it's very clear. You can see the nimitta. But you must close eye, you can see the nimitta with your mind. If you create nimitta, you cannot maintain very long time. When nimitta appear naturally, you can maintain very long time. This is very, very obvious. Okay? So when you can attain, when you have Patibhaga nimitta, when your mind can absorb in it, you can attain adelates, asset concentrations or absorption concentration. The first jhana adelates. So it's very clear when you can see nimitta. That's why jhana will be very clear. You don't need to talk about it.
There's another question in Telegram from Beatrice Hope. My question is, if Buddha ever gave 5 precepts with Abrahmacharya as the third precept?
Actually, we have Kaumara Sila or Kumara Sila. We have this kind of Sila. You can search in the Tipitaka. If there's single boy or single girl, then they also practice this kind of Sila. Okay? So there are many other types. For example, like Ajiva Tamaka Sila and many other types of Sila. It depends on the situation. Then there can be different practitioners. So the Buddha also allow. It's okay. Here we have one. Now I just search in Tipitaka, right? We have Kaumara Brahmacharya. In Pali, we call Kaumara Brahmacharya. Right?
Sayadaw dan mencari di Tipitaka ada disebut namanya Kaumara Brahmacharya. Is that sutta name or?
No, this is the name of that kind of sila.
Oh, the name of the kind of sila. Okay, which is the 5 precepts, but the third precepts as Brahmacharya instead, right, Sayadaw?
Okay.
Okay, Sayadaw.
Sorry, Sayadaw. It's already past 20 minutes past 9:30. You still want to continue the question and answer session?
Okay.
Or?
I think assume there are 2 questioners, right? Okay, this will be the last question.
Last question. Okay, silakan.
Two from Zoom, right? I can see. Raise a hand.
Yes, there are 2 more from Zoom. One.
Okay.
Yes. So please go, Edison.
Dukkha number 3 low already. Dukkha, huh?
Okay. I think this the same person from Guayang Li.
Okay.
So I asked, you didn't answer, so I asked again, could you please upload your Palita chanting and English Dhamma talk on internet?
Palita chanting?
Yeah, Palita chanting and English Dhamma talk.
So far, I haven't collected all my Dhamma talk. Palita chanting also I haven't chanted properly. Okay, if I'm free, I can do. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Dita Dhamma, the last one.
Sayadaw, could you tell us the characteristic of the person that is mindful? Because in the just now you mentioned the 4 points that we need to discover the 4 things that help to the development of the sati. 2 of them is the avoiding person with confused mind, and the associate with the person that is mindful. Though, how do we discover this kind of person? Like, because right now there's lots of people, maybe they, that they might appear to be certain thing. Is there any tips or characteristic that we could learn from Sayadaw so we can be associated with the person? And the last one is, how do we enhance the inclination or our interest, willingness to practice mindfulness? Thank you, Sayadaw.
Okay, so that means when we start conversation, we can know this is mindful or not, right? If mindful, less mistakes. If unmindful, more mistakes. Now this is very clear, right? So another thing is like a behavior will be different. Behavior also different, right? Speaking also different. So their behavior is totally different from other people. This is called mindful people, mindful person. Okay. So now this is the second question. You say how we can incline, all right? How we can be interested or willing. So that means if we know the value of mindfulness, we have more interest. Value. Right? Similarly, now you know the value of money. Right? You are willing to earn money. This is very clear, right? Similarly, if you know the value of mindfulness, you have more interest. So that means we must try to find out how valuable it is. It will be more beneficial. If we know how beneficial it is, we have more interested, more willingness to improve. Okay?
Right. Okay. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Thank you, Sayadaw. Anumodana. Thank you, Sayadaw.
Sayadaw, I think it's enough Q&A for today. Thank you,
Sorry,
Sayadaw.
There's one question that following the questions before. This person is asking whether maybe translate by Lukito.
Okay, Shadow. The questions actually is just an extended questions from the earlier questions about the living, about the suitable places for us to do the meditate, Shadow. Shadow mentioning about the 7 factor of knowing whether the place is quite conducive for us to do the meditate. But he has another questions. Could we allow to spend time for meditating, even though the place is suitable for meditative, but the monk that is inside the monastery is not living according to the Vinaya, Shadow?
Okay, if you can neglect whatever then they do, if your mind is strips, don't think about other people, just do your own business. It's okay. But sometimes if you can see or hear, you're gonna feel happy, right? If you're gonna feel happiness, you're gonna meditate well. It will happen naturally.
Thank you for the Dhamma Desana, Sayadaw. Sadhu, 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 anumodami. May the true Dhamma continue to shine throughout our life. May Sayadaw always be happy, healthy, and have a long life. We hope that Sayadaw would continue to guide us in our Dhamma learning journey. May our merit of keeping the precepts, listening to the Dhamma, and be a strong supporting conditions for our attainment of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu.